In a packed room, a Philip Morris International executive steps onto the stage, dressed in a dark suit with a controlled tone and a perfectly timed slide. That day, he announces something unthinkable. Philip Morris, the giant that sold Marlboro for a century, is going to help smokers quit cigarettes by offering them a new product.
True, the babies born from women who smoke are smaller, but they're just as healthy as the babies born from women who do not smoke, and some women would prefer having smaller babies.
A company that built its fortune on a product whose dangers it knew, while denying them for decades, is now going to sell you the solution. And that solution. So, it's electronic cigarettes. Industrialists who spent a century making their customers addicted are suddenly presenting themselves as the architects of a smoke-free future. Do you see the paradox? Because in 2024 in France, the electronic cigarette market was worth about 1 billion euros per year, and it kept growing. Despite ongoing health and regulatory debates, over 3 million French people will vape daily in 2025. In 5 years, the market grew over 30%. 1.65 billion euros for an industry that didn't even exist 15 years earlier. But here's what few people really realize. This industry, which is supposed to free you from tobacco, is gradually being bought out by the cigarette companies themselves. All of them are investing heavily in vaping. So today, I'm not just going to tell you the story of the electronic cigarette. I'm going to show you how. An industry that was born to fight the problem at its root is being absorbed by those who built their empire on it. It's a story worthy of a Hollywood thriller, full of betrayal, bold moves, but also, I have to admit, a certain amount of success. And as always, we'll end this video with the 2 business mindset lessons to take away from this silent transformation. Let's get started. In a small apartment in Beijing, On Ling, who is a pharmacist, watches his father die of lung cancer. A smoker like him, and in fact, he smokes a lot, 3 packs a day. At that moment, he isn't trying to create an industry. He just wants a way out and has a simple, almost naive idea. What if you could deliver nicotine without burning tobacco? No combustion, no smoke, no tar, no carbon monoxide, just vapor. Our pharmacist is going to start tinkering. He tests, fails, and tries again. In his garage, he puts together unlikely prototypes, a battery, a liquid, a heating system. And in 2004, he files a patent. The first commercial electronic cigarette is born. The concept is strikingly simple. A battery, a tank of liquid, glycerin, nicotine, and flavorings. A coil that heats the liquid and vapor that escapes. No fire, so much less damage. The first models reach Europe in 2007-2008. Then something changes. Why does it work? Because, for the first time, smokers aren't being asked to give up everything. It's not a patch, not a nicotine gum, not even a hypnosis session in a back room. It's a cigarette without the cigarette. The same gesture, the same sensation, the same nicotine, but without the 4,000 toxic substances from burning tobacco. According to Public Health England, the aerosol produced by the cigarette is 95% less harmful than regular cigarette smoke. 95%. For millions of smokers, it's not a gadget. It's an emergency exit. In just a few years, France has more than 3 million regular vapers, more than half of whom are former smokers, who have completely quit regular cigarettes. In 2024, the market is worth 1.1 billion euros. What makes this period fascinating is the following. Unlike tobacco, which is dominated by a few sprawling multinationals, vaping, as young people call it, started as an independent industry. Between 2010 and 2015, thousands of enthusiasts got involved. Former smokers, technicians, craftsmen, shops started opening everywhere. Makeshift e-commerce sites on WordPress, and self-employed people mixing their own liquids. In 2024, France will have 3,000 to 3,500 specialized shops, mostly independent stores. And even though almost all vaping devices are imported, mainly from China, of course, e-liquids are mostly made in France, with extremely strict health standards. Notably, the AFNOR XPD 9300 certification, which is specific to the vaping sector, a young, local, and independent industry. At that point, vaping looks like an anomaly in modern capitalism, a sector that seems to escape the giants. But as you might expect, the sharks are never far away when they smell blood. The executives around the table are reviewing the numbers. Traditional cigarette sales are plummeting year after year under the pressure of taxes, plain packaging, and prevention campaigns. But on another screen, a graph tells the opposite story. Vaping is booming, and this boom has a bitter taste. It's stealing their customers. Philip Morris, British American Tobacco, Japan Tobacco International, they all see the same thing. They have a problem and an opportunity. The problem is they can't kill vaping. Governments tolerate it, smokers are adopting it, and public opinion sees it as the lesser evil. The opportunity is that if vaping is going to kill tobacco, they might as well be the ones selling it. So they have two options: fight it head on, or the second, infiltrate it. Of course, they choose option 2. In 2013, Imperial Tobacco bought the patents from the self-proclaimed inventor of the e-cigarette for $75 plus an additional $5 million to develop the J electronic cigarette, which is distributed exclusively through Pluralist. That same year, Philip Morris International officially announced its entry into the electronic cigarette market. Tobacco companies are entering the e-cigarette market and quickly profiting. The tobacco giant is now involved. Lori Lard, who is part of it, spends nearly 120 million euros to buy Blue East Japan. Tobacco International launches Plume, a device that heats real tobacco to produce vapor. The cigarette companies arrive in force, but soon hit a wall. The vapors don't trust them. How can you trust Philip Morris on health after selling death for a century? So they change their strategy. They don't just buy up vape brands anymore. They invest massively in research. Philip Morris claims to have invested more than $12 billion since 2008 in the development of smoke-free products. To give you an idea, that's the annual budget of a small country. $12 billion. To develop what? Not just regular e-cigarettes, but hybrid products, heated tobacco, devices that heat tobacco below the combustion threshold to release nicotine and flavors. The flagship product, it's called ECOS by Philip Morris, and it works. I would even say it's a big hit. Smokeless brands like ECOS and Zyn are now classic drivers of Philip Morris's success. But here's the most insidious part of the story. The president of British American Tobacco admits that the group's profit growth comes both from the increase in traditional cigarette sales and from the strong growth of so-called smokeless products. They don't replace cigarettes, but add products. In 2021, British American Tobacco reported $12.9 billion in profits. They even claimed to have slipped information leaflets into 1 billion packs of cigarettes to advertise these new products. 1 billion packs. The strategy is simple: retain consumers in the ecosystem. Nicotine. If you quit smoking, no problem. Here's vaping. Here's heated tobacco, or even nicotine pouches. You never leave the system. And now they found a new playground. The most dangerous one: young people. Because there's one thing they don't tell you enough. Vaping no longer just attracts smokers who want to quit. It also attracts those who have never smoked. And in this game, creating a customer at 15 means keeping them for at least 50 years. And for that, they've found the perfect weapon. Colorful, flavored, disposable electronic cigarettes. They call them puff. In the bathroom, 3 14-year-old teenagers, one of them takes something out of his pocket. It looks like a cigarette, but it's not one. It's called a puff. Small, colorful, disposable, with a candy strawberry flavor. He takes a puff and passes it to his friend. Contrary to what you might think, no one here is smoking, buddy. In 2023, 15% of teenagers aged 13-16 have used a PEUF. Notably, 47% of these users first encountered nicotine through it. What was supposed to be a tool for quitting has become a gateway, and it goes even further. 28% of cigarette users started with the PEUF. Why does it work? Because everything is tailored for them. 82% of young people find the PEUF cooler than cigarettes. 64% mention the flavors as the main attraction, and 49% talk about the fun aspect. Strawberries, cotton candy, bubble gum. With low prices, flashy packaging, It's available everywhere, and above all, it's discreet, easy to hide in a bag or a pocket. It's made for them. Some disposable vapes contain up to 5% nicotine for a teenager who has never smoked. That's massive. Of course, 84% of young people know that vaping can be addictive, and yet they vape because they're young. And because addiction isn't just chemical, it's also about the action, the habit, and once you're hooked on the gesture, the trap closes in. 23% of young PEUF users switch to other tobacco or nicotine products. The rest is routine. France responded to the phenomenon surge by officially banning PEUF with a law enacted on February 24, 2025. Too late? 73% of teenagers aged 13 to 16 have already heard about it. The product disappears, the demand remains, and as a result, the black market develops. TikTok, hidden e-cigarettes, and nicotine pouches as substitutes. When one product is banned, another emerges, while inspections show the problem's scale. In 2024, the Directorate General for Competition Policy, Consumer Affairs and Fraud Control inspected 130 vape stores. 65% show issues, sales to minors, non-compliant products, abnormal nicotine levels. The picture is clear. E-cigarettes were made to help smokers, but now they're creating new addicts. Young people who wouldn't have smoked are now vaping. Philip Morris, British American Tobacco, Japan Tobacco International. Always the same ones. So what do we take away from this whole story? From this industry that was supposed to kill tobacco and is now being swallowed up by it. From the rise of puffs, colorful, candy-flavored products aimed at kids, to the boom in electronic cigarettes. Here are 2 business lessons to remember. The first is that a profitable business always attracts someone bigger than you. Vaping was an independent market, but very quickly, the giants arrived. The rule is simple. If your business works, someone more powerful will come in. So from the start, ask yourself the question, am I building to be bought or to resist? Not choosing is taking the risk of getting crushed. The second lesson is that regulation is a filter, not a protection. The more regulated a market becomes, the more inaccessible it is to small players. Regulations, controls, and taxes favor large companies. If you're new, steer clear of heavily regulated sectors or adjust your business accordingly. To survive, you must follow the rules before succeeding. Electronic cigarettes are just one example. This model, which makes a solution a profitable dependency, is just like Klarna's approach in another industry. It was applied with the initial intention of helping young people who had trouble paying by offering payment in installments, until everything got out of control, as you can see in the video that's showing.